go again, eh?
Might as well give you a tour of the underside of my car while it's up on the hoist and stuff in the back. Two mufflers, so it's not too loud. Fuel tank, seen better days. Cat didn't actually come with a cat because it's built in the 80s, so it wasn't needed. So I've actually added that. And yeah, T25. You can see here I've extended the sump about 20 mil. That's because since the turbo is so low down, it's to help the oil drain out. Intake goes up back into this factory air box. Yeah, so we're going to be changing this bad boy. I've gone and got a Turbo Smart one. I've noticed though the size difference is going to make things interesting. So it's got to fit between the torsion bar here and the frame or chassis. So we might have to do some crazy stuff with the mount. You can see it's already been modified. But I'll unwrap everything and I'll see how we go. Thought I also might explain the suspension setup in D21s. It's interesting. So this bar here goes all the way to the front, and that goes straight onto the lower control arm. It's called a torsion bar, and you can see the adjustment here. That's actually how you lower it or heighten it. So it's got factory adjustable height. Only problem is it's the spring, so trying to make your front of your car stiffer is a real pain in the ass. So I've got a really soft front end and a really stiff rear end. The stiff rear end is because I've got leaf springs and lowering blocks. The two leaves on top here, they're actually from the middle of the pack. Although the top one is the helper spring, so I flipped that upside down, and that see how it's flattened the whole pack out to almost completely flat. Same on the other side. Yeah, but that makes it super stiff. So when I hit bumps, it's the opposite of the front. So it's a bit funny to drive, but it still drives okay. Got some proper gloves on because I know it's going to be dirty and oily and too rough for normal gloves. I'll just pop off, tear. That's what I use for my wastegate circlip, modified just screw mount thing, I don't know. I guess before I get too far, I better explain what I'm doing. So old wastegate is always open a little bit because of how it's adjusted. When I get it off, I'll explain what I mean. So I've got this new Turbo Smart wastegate. They're meant to be a bit better for spooling, so the springs a different ratio, so it comes on a boost quicker, and it also, I'm having overboost issues with that one. In the third gear it's reaching 10 psi, so hopefully this will keep it down to 7. Yeah, once I get this wastegate off, I'll explain the always open thing I'm talking about. Cool. Old wastegate's out. Size comparison is fucking... It's going to be a bit of a mission to get this in. As you can see, it's in a very awkward spot. It sits between the chassis and the torsion bar. And what I meant when I said the wastegate's always opened a little bit is, this is the wastegate for the turbo. So that's closed, and then when you're making boost, it opens up to bypass exhaust gases. Mine was constantly sitting a couple of mil open, which was making it take forever to boost. So yeah, hopefully this new wastegate and new spring combo fixes that issue. Yes, it's definitely not gonna just go straight on. You can see my custom bracket doesn't fit it. So I will make a new bracket up. So we're gonna have to take off this pipe. I've already undone the hose clamp. Just sit that out of the way for now. We're gonna have to take off this turbo inlet so we can gain access to the wastegate bolts, which are up in here. I've made the decision to not film much of the undoing bolts because there's going to be a lot of it. When we're actually fabricating the wastegate bracket, I'll do a bit more filming. Maybe when I'm removing stuff, like if I can remove this, it's siliconed onto the turbo as well as bolts. So there we go. Exhaust flange as my turbo bolt, or turbo front housing or whatever. Not front housing. Like, I don't even know. Okay. There you go. Old wastegate mount. Fucking it is what it is. The new wastegate did come with a mount, but I know it's not going to work. So we might need to modify this in the same way we did that. The bolt holes here don't line up. I've got the original wastegate mount bolted back in. I'm hoping I can just weld this mount onto this one and make it all work like that. The pin that goes into here doesn't fit, so I'm gonna have to drill this out. Or if we're lucky, this will just screw on. But of course, it just can't be that easy, can it? Alright, I'll drill this out. I'm not going to record it. So I've drilled it out. I also cleaned my face a bit because I didn't realise how much shit was on it. I'm going to do some angle grinding. Cut a bit of this bracket off. Make everything fit a bit nicer. I'm just going to tack it and see how it looks. Have a bit of a play with it. It's tacked on, but I got to desperately turn the wire speed up. So I think that should clear. Chassis, I might notch that bit of metal. to give it some more clearance. So yeah, I'll tack it a bit better and do some more modifications with the, I guess, the actuator and everything off. So. Also, if you're ever welding, take your battery terminals off. I've done it welding on this before without doing it, so I know it's going to be fine, but it can fuck your ECU and do all sorts of shit. That should do. I'll go cool it down and I'll notch that bit for the chassis and we'll test fit it and hopefully good to go. Ah. How to fuck your camera 101. Got to be the ugliest mount in the world, but as long as it works, I'm happy. It's not like you're going to be seeing it. So I just finished putting the wastegate in, or I think one of the bolts isn't tight yet, but I was just testing the function of the actual gate by doing this. And I noticed that the gate on the turbo doesn't want to retract all the way, but only occasionally. See how it's only going halfway back? So I'm just gonna pull off this V-band and see if I can see what's going on. So I'm assuming that was my problem all along and I didn't need to install this wastegate. I don't know how I'm going to fix it either. Maybe another weld on there somewhere. So I've fixed that wastegate issue. So I've put a rag in there to stop the turbines getting sputter of weld on them. And you can see I've put a little tack weld on the actual wastegate. So I've got the car all back together. The wastegate's on. The wastegate actuator inside the turbo seems to be fixed. Yeah, so we'll put her down, and I'm keen to see how much this clears because I'm still a bit anxious of it hitting the lower control arm here. So that should be down enough to at least see if it's going to hit. I don't want to lower it all the way and then it actually contact and break my new mount and actuator and everything. So I've just jacked the wheel up with the car still on the hoist so I can get underneath it and check it's going to clear. It's very, very close, but it looks like we're just gonna make it without contact. So I'm gonna let the car down all the way and see how we go. Alright, so I've got my clean shirt back on because I felt dirty. Checked oil and coolant, so car's warmed up. I'm a bit excited to see how it drives. Whoops. quick test drive. It boosted instantly, but it reached like 11 pounds, so I've got to figure a way to, yeah, I might just unscrew that bit where the circlip goes onto, bring it out. It'll be laggy a bit, but I'd rather be a bit laggy than over boosting. So I've ended up modifying the actuator because I think it was hitting on this. So now it's got a clear path and it should be able to open a bit more. Yeah. So finished up with the wastegate. The last video showed that I'd cut and welded the arm to stop it from hitting the chassis. I took for a drive and it's perfect. Comes on a boost really quick. Stays around 6-7 psi. Whoa. Oh, dude. You transitioned so early into the second corner.
Yeah, it's because it just lights out.
Okay. Big entry.
I only just noticed the phone came.
Yes. I don't know how I didn't spin. I was just on lock. I was like, fuck, how am I gonna bring this? I don't know how I just...
I slowed down and then I was like, nah, he's spinning out. I slowed down and he just like back.
Yeah, fuck. I don't know how I came back from that. I thought I was spinning. Fuck. Sick. That was sick. I'm getting spin happy. Hey? Yeah. Dude, this is fun as hell. Daytime's the best. Daytime's the best. Daytime's the best.
Yeah.
This is the first time out in day.
So much better. 10 a.m. bro.
Oh, baby. What do you got? 360 entry? Go on, son. That was sick. Dude, it's so fun, like, when you spin and someone drifts past you. Like, it's so much sicker.
I was like looking at it, I was like roll back a second.
That's what I did on yours. I like, I'll roll back and I rolled like into the road. Yeah, I thought you were just gonna sink. I thought you were gonna sink into the puddle.
I was like kind of looking at it. I was like, oh, what's gonna happen?
Did it feel funky?
While I'm skiing, I looked down, my feet was like below him.
Yeah, I feel it like before I came here. It's like, oh.
I thought about it, like, and I was like, it's MX5. I remember skiing like this long.
Yeah, when did you get here?
To get past 11,
Yeah, okay.
it's 12 tomorrow.
The king's out. Thanks for recording.